Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the topic for today is introducing biology. Okay, and before I start, let me introduce myself. I'm Vani Kari, biology educator at Unacademy. I'm an engineer with bachelor's and master's degree in biotechnology and a B.Ed degree. Also a founder of a startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. So join with us in Telegram for homework and class notes. You can join the channel Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology. Okay, so this is class 9 and 10 biology, and the telegram channel of Unacademy ICSE and ISC both. So this you will find in the description box. So you can click on the link and join the telegram channel for updates regarding the classes. Okay, so special classes, so you can learn from your favorite educator for free. So basically we'll be conducting special classes on Unacademy platform which are absolutely free. Okay, engage with educators via poll. So we'll be conducting quiz as well. Okay, so at the end of the session we'll be sharing the leaderboard so that you can know your rank and compete with your friends. All right, hi Robert, good evening. So clear your doubts in the live special class, like so there is a question tab. So using that question tab, so you have an option to attach an image and send it to the educator during a live session. So whatever doubts you have, you can get it cleared during a live session using the question tab. So now for the top special classes, you can visit the link that you can find in the description. Okay, so now Unacademy subscription feature, so you can learn live from the comfort of your home. Unlimited access to all the courses will be there. So top educators of India are going to take the classes in one platform, so that is Unacademy platform. There is a regular doubt clearing session, like after about every 3 sessions, the 4th session will be your doubt clearing session. So whatever doubts you have related to the topics that are previously covered, so you can clear your doubt in this particular session. So this year, okay, so I can give it for next few classes. Okay, so you can anyway join the telegram. Okay, so I'll be informing whenever my classes are there, so I'll be informing here. So you can join this channel Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology, so I'll inform it there. Okay, then other than that, so there is a complete syllabus coverage will be done. Mentorship and guidance is given. So if you are asking about the plus classes, so my plus classes for class 9, so it is every alternately, like Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So I have it at 7:45 p.m. So this is my plus class timing. Okay, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so 7:45 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. is my session. All right, so then exhaustive coverage of a syllabus is done. Then mentorship is given. Okay, so that is mentorship and guidance is given. Study material is given. The practice tests are given. Live tests are given, and also you will have access to batches, like we have a batches in English, so we have a batches in Hindi. So you will have access to all the batches once you take the subscription. So along with that, there is a daily practice section, weekly mock test series, live quizzes will be there. So daily MCQ and subjective test series are also there. So now this is the price that you can, this is the lowest ever price that you can find on Unacademy platform. So this one, this offer is gonna end on May 19th, that is today itself. So from tomorrow onwards, that is 20th onwards, just a second, so 20th onwards you can find. So these are the new prices, so these are plus new prices. So you can see here, these are the respective amounts which are mentioned. So for 12 months, as today is the offer is there, so you will be getting, so for 12 months it is 12k. Okay, so for 12 months it is 12k. So this is the lowest ever you can get. So basically you will be saving up to 5,250. So for that you need to apply a code. So my code is Vani YT. Okay, so this is the code. So with this code you will be getting 20% discount on the subscription. Okay, so if you are planning for the subscription, so since this is the very beginning of your class 9, okay, so you can go with the 12 months of subscription. So for 12 months it is 12k and you will be saving this amount. So or otherwise from tomorrow onwards, so this is going to be 17,250. So where you can save up to 5,250 today. So if you are planning, so don't forget to mention the code Vani YT. Only with the code this cost will be applied. So you can use this code to get 20% discount. Okay, so only today this offer is available. Okay, so only right now. Just a second. So introducing biology. So let's have a look at the different, one second. Yeah, so let's have a look at the different scientists who have a role in, like, finding a biological, we can say maybe certain research related to biology. It can be in the field of medicine, it can be in the field of the whole biology itself, or it can be with respect to zoology, botany. So we'll see different scientists who are there. So now biology, when we mention, so it is the science that describes, or it is the science that studies the life. So what is life? Any living organism. So be it an animal, okay, so animal is alive, the plant is alive, like plants are living organism. Then Monera kingdom, so that is bacteria, mycoplasma, blue-green algae, cyanobacteria. So different things are there. So all of them are living organism. The protista, like amoeba, euglena, paramecium. So each and every living organism is studied. So under fungi we have a yeast, mushroom, then there is penicillin, then you can find candida. So different fungi you can find, different protista you can find. So each and every organism is studied. So that study itself we call as a biology. Bio is life, okay, and logy is study. So life study is done, so that is a biology. Okay, so now biologist. So who is a biologist? Like now those who study this life. Okay, so the person who studies a biology, or the person who is studying a life, so he is called as a biologist. So now these are all biologists, like in the year, that is 384 BC to 322 before Christ. So there was a person like Aristotle. Okay, so he is he has contributed most extensively, so that is in the development of biology. Okay, just a second. Yeah, so he has developed like a different technologies, basically not exactly technologies, but a different method where he went on observing a different cells. And okay, so his work focused on the history of animals, like their evolutionary relationship that he was looking for. Okay, so what is what is the evolution, if a particular organism is there, what is that relationship that this particular organism might be having with the other one. So his work focused on the history of animals, so that is biological causation as well, and the diversity of the life, like diversity. So what is diversity? Like you can find in plant only, so you will come across many different plant, like so there is a marine plants are there, so salt water plants might be there, terrestrial plants are there, so in desert you can find certain plants. So every diversity in a plant, every diversity in an animal, so every diversity that you can find with respect to bacteria. So basically he started studying about the different living organisms that exist on this earth. Okay, then history of animals I already told you. Biological agents or causation, so that means let's say there is a disease, okay, and this disease is caused by a particular pathogen. Okay, so what is that cause? What is the cause of a disease? So that can be mentioned, or otherwise like what exactly is the reason for the formation of life on the earth. Okay, So he was mainly, he was trying out, he was studying a different organism. So with that he was able to conclude certain things like, this plant exists, this animal exists, so this is having this feature, the bacteria is having a different feature. So different characteristics with respect to animals, plants, everything was studied, and that's the reason. So he is called as a founder, or maybe we can say him as a father of biology. Okay, so why do we call him as a father of biology? So he is the person who started with the studying all these different things, like, mainly the biological or living organisms. Okay, so next individual is Theophrastris. Okay, so Theophrastris in the year, so 370 to 285 before Christ. So this is the year, who is actually a student of Aristotle. Okay, so wrote botanical text on the structure, then life cycle and uses of the plant. Okay, so that means he was mainly studying a plant. So plant study, when we mention, so plant study is basically a botany. Okay, so when a plants are studied, so that we call as a botany. So that means he was right, like, after a lot extensive research is done on different plants. Okay, life cycle of a plant was understood. So, just like that, just the observation is done and the writing is not done. Okay, so extensive research has to be done. So whenever one has to perform a specific, like, let's say they are writing a book. Okay, or they are coming up with a new idea maybe. Okay, or maybe they discover a new organism. Hi, Aman. Okay, so they discover a new organism. So in all that case, so always a proof is required. So you just cannot write a random thing anywhere. Okay, so he has written many botanical texts, like, without any base. Okay, so like there is no, like, extensive research, like research has to be done. Aap kaise ma'am? I'm good. How are you, Aman? How are you? So the text has been written, so that is on different plants. So life cycle, like, when did the plant took the birth, and when exactly is the death. So that is the life cycle. So this life, like, the period between the birth and the death, when we mention, so that can be called as a lifespan. Okay, so lifespan is mentioned, and then once the lifespan is understood, so they'll have an ideology about the life cycle also, like, what is formed first. Let's say first there is a seed formation, then there is root system, shoot system formation. So as such, like, what is the life cycle, like how exactly gametes are being formed, so all that will be studied, and uses of the plant. So many plants are used in different, like, even when we are using home remedies, like, for any condition that is there, so home remedies we use, so that is mainly the plant based products we use. Okay, so in that case, he is the person who started with the uses of the plant, like what, like, in what way this particular plant can be used. Okay, for a human purpose, or maybe for an animal purpose, or for itself. Okay, hi Renu, good evening. So in that case, there are different case studies were performed, and only after that, so just like that, we don't call anyone as a father of a botany, or father of a biology, or father of medicine. So there has to be a strong base, like, extensive research has to be performed. Only after that extensive research, so we will mention that, so he has discovered so and so things, and based on that we call them a father. Okay, so now he is called, that is Theophrastris is called as the father of botany, because he has contributed more in the plant field. Okay, so that is in the field of botany, so he has contributed, and that's the reason we call him as a father of botany. Okay, then Amandeep. Okay, so this one is first chapter, that is introducing biology. Okay, so introducing biology, so this chapter is introducing biology, so which you will be studying, like, different branches of biology, what are there, so that you will be studying in detail. So this I am just starting, like, the introduction part, like understanding a biology in this. Okay, So what is botany? Botany is basically a plant study. Okay, so any plant related study is done, so that comes under the botany. Okay, so all the different plants are studied. So like what is the life cycle, what is the lifespan, how exactly this plant is surviving in a desert, how exactly this plant is surviving on a terrestrial condition, how exactly this particular plant is living in a salt water, that is in a marine sea condition. Okay, so all the different conditions are taken, what is the specific body feature of this plant is considered, so that is all the characteristic feature come under the botany, so that is mainly for the plant study. Okay, so now when we mention about the zoology, so it is the animal study. Okay, so we will see that. Okay, so now you can see Hippocrates. Okay, so this is the picture of a Hippocrates here. All right, so Hippocrates, anyway, this is just like imagination, so nobody knows the exact picture as such. So since this is the very beginning of biology, okay, so in that case just based on the writings a particular image is formed. So this is Hippocrates now. So in the year 460, like before Christ, 460 and 377 before Christ, so rationalize the science of healing and treating the sick. Okay, so what is that? Now using any compound, so basically maybe he used to attract like extract, so not attract, sorry, extract a compound, like extraction of a particular compound might be done, and that compound which is extracted so can be used in healing, or maybe it can be used in treating the sick, like if an individual is not feeling good, okay, maybe extraction from the plant is given, or basically not just the plant, anything. Okay, so fungal extraction can be given, bacterial extraction can be given, so antibiotic discovery. Anyway, this time like during the period of Hippocrates, so there was no antibiotic discovery was not done. Okay, so there was no antibiotic discovery, but anyway, so he used to treat the sick, that is by using certain compound extracts from the plant. So that is why he was called as the father of medicine. Okay, so he was the person who started with applying biology in treating a people. So based on that we call them like call Hippocrates as a father of medicine. Okay, ma'am, when will you teach flower chapter? So I have already taken. Okay, so I have already taken. So since this is a YouTube session, so only certain percentage or like cover, like certain percentage of topics are covered here in UIT classes or in special classes. So for plus classes you will have a full access to the full syllabus. So you can watch the like sessions on plus classes also. For that you need to take a subscription, or otherwise that certain percentage what I have covered, so that you can find on the YouTube, like on this channel itself. So that is I think maybe day before yesterday itself I was taking a session on a flower, that is a bisexual flower, so you can watch that session as well. So let's have a look at this. Is that clear, Renu? Any doubt? So there is a recording that will be available, so you can watch that recording. All right. So now biology had flourished a great deal in the ancient India. Okay, so that is between this period, that is 2500 BC to 650 BC. So various systems of classifying animals. So now we have a various systems of classifying animals as well as the plants. Now for example you can see this particular picture now. Okay, and you can see this particular picture. Okay, so there might be a mother rat. Okay, so these, let's say this is a mother rat, all right, or a rodent, and you can see these are baby mice. Okay, so this is a baby mice or baby rodent. Okay, so in that case you can see that so this is directly giving birth to a young one. Okay, so this is directly giving birth to a young one. So you can say, let's say this is a hen. Okay, so that means within that egg, so there comes the chick. Okay, so that is basically based on like whether it is directly giving birth to a jiva. Okay, so that is viviparous. All right, That is basically the young ones are given birth, like in our case also humans. Okay, so how do humans give birth? So we do not lay any eggs. Okay, so that is we are directly giving birth to a young one. So this is giving birth to a young one. So that means this is now a viviparous. Okay, and here you can see the hen is keeping a egg. Okay, it is laying an egg. So that means, you know, some birds and, you know, some of the animals, when you observe, so they lay the egg, and then, you know, this egg will hatch. Okay, so hatching of a egg you can see, so that is by providing a warmth. And such animals, when we mention, so those are called as andaj, or basically a oviparous. Okay, so oviparous when we mention, so they lay the egg. Viviparous when we mention, so they are giving birth to a young one directly. So, you know, like this we have a different classification methods. So one of the classification which was used is, okay, I'll just explain it to you here itself, just a second. Yeah, so one of the classification earlier, you know, the humans. Okay, so let not just humans, animals we will talk of. Okay, so animals were classified based on whether they have a white blood. Okay, so whether the white blood is present or the red blood is present. Okay, so based on that as well the classification was done. Okay, so whether the individual is having a white blood or a red blood. Okay, so in that case, if a white blood is there, so this is placed in a different category. Okay, like cockroach and all. Okay, so some insects you will see, so they are having a white blood, and some of the insects you will see, like, you know, like humans only if we are mentioning, so we have a red blood. So in that case humans is the example. So, you know, earlier classification was done based on the blood, like, you know, whether it is a white or a red one. So same way, like let's say, okay, so now animals. So animals are classified again based on, okay, so hi Pavan, hi Praveen, good evening. Okay, so now, you know, animals can be classified on different things as such. So same way, like now this is oviparous or a viviparous, a white blood cell or a red blood cell. Then also, so you can see the plant. Okay, so plant and animal classification was done. So how exactly plant and animal classification was done? So that is based on whether the plant, now we know that you know, this is not motile, like, you know, there is no movement. It's like, you know, moving from one place to the other place. So this is not done, but animals can move. Okay, so based on that again the classification. So since this is the very beginning of a biology, so, you know, people used to observe each and every minute details, like with only with the eye. So since there was no microscope, so there was no microscope to observe the cells and all, and to mention what type of tissue and all is present. So in that, just the external features were studied, and only based on the external feature, like, you know, classification used to happen. So that is morphology. Okay, so morphology was considered, and then the classification used to happen. Okay, so but now we have a advanced technology in every field. So in that case, like, you know, we can even observe a tiniest things. Okay, so that can be with electron microscope and all. Okay, so we can, you know, we can magnify it up to 10x, then 100x we can magnify. So we can magnify it up to 1000x, so then we can magnify it up to 10,000x, 1 lakh times. So, you know, we can magnify a particular thing, and we can, you know, observe the structure clearly. So that is with the electron microscope. So this can be done. So this is anyway done with the normal microscope. So this is for an electron. Okay, which are not moving. So what is the scientific name of the animals which are not moving? So there is nothing like scientific name of the animals, there are not. So each and every individual will have a different scientific name. Okay, so humans are there. Okay, so then, you know, there are let's say the animal which is non moving is a porifera. Okay, so there is, like, you know, different categories you can find. So it's not that one fixed name is there for a moving organism. one fixed name is there for a non-moving organism. So there is nothing like that. So hydra might be there, starfish might be there. So different organisms which are there. So they all have a different scientific name. So there is no specific scientific name for a moving organism or a non-motile organism. So there is nothing like that. Okay. So now let's see this. Cultivation of rice was first introduced in India. Okay. So this is estimated that more than 1,000 varieties of rice had been developed. So I'll just show you some pictures. Okay, so now this is a rice varieties that you can find. Okay, so these are the rice varieties. So do you think that this is naturally present? So no, because certain combinations are done. Okay, so based on that, so some are anyway naturally present, but again a lot of combinations are done with respect to the gene of these rice. Okay, rice plant. So based on combination of genes also, many of the rice varieties, like about 1,000 varieties of rice we have. Okay, so we hardly hardly we might have consumed about 5 or 6 varieties. So that is max to max. Okay, but we have many more varieties, like 1,000 varieties are there. So you can see there is red rice might be there, so brown, then the shape is going to be changed. So this is somewhat thicker, so you can see somewhat greenish. So golden rice is there. So we have a developed with biotechnology, so we have even developed the golden rice. So that means taking a gene from a daffodil flower. Okay, so taking a gene from the daffodil flower, so we have developed a particular rice. So basically we have cultivated many different types of varieties with respect to rice. And so these are actually having a good nutritional value. So just simply we are not developing them, so there has to be some benefit, right? So that is, there might be more nutritional value, like they might be nutritious, for good for health. So you might have heard that so red rice might be too good, like you won't develop a fat there. Like if you are consuming anything in excess, obviously there has to be fat, or otherwise. So basically naturally some amount of nutritional value we can find more with respect to red rice as compared to white one. Okay, so like this there is a nutritional value associated, and based on that the development is also done. So let's have a look at the discovery of a cell now. Okay, so who discovered a cell for a first time? So this is Robert Hooke. Okay, so Robert Hooke discovered the cell for the very first time, and especially a dead cell. Okay, so he observed a dead cell, like he did not have an idea like there is a living cell might also be there. Okay, so in that case where is the nucleotide? What is the meaning of nucleotide? So nucleotide you can find in a DNA. Okay, so DNA, when we mention, so DNA is made up of a nucleotide. So nucleotide is made up of many units of nucleotide are going to form a DNA. Okay, so in that case nucleotide consists of sugar. Okay, so then you can find a particular structure, so that is a phosphate group. Okay, then you can also find there is a nitrogenous base. So all of these together are going to form a nucleotide, and many such nucleotides will form a DNA. All right, is that clear? So basically nucleotide, when we mention, so this is a structural unit of a DNA. Okay, so DNA or a RNA, when we mention, so they are made up of a nucleotide. So this is a structural unit. All right, so let's have a look at this. Okay, so in the year 1665, Robert Hooke developed, he observed, not developed, sorry, it is observed. Okay, so he observed the cell, some room like structures he started observing. So he was not so sure about that. Okay, so then you can see that he observed it in a dead cell. Okay, so that is a cork slice. What is cork slice? The thick, thicker plant, when you observe the stem part, so you see that outer part, brownish part, no? So that brownish part is actually having a dead cells. Okay, so he observed that dead cell. Or if a plant is dried, if this is if this has fallen and all the cells are done, like we cut pieces, like we cut the pieces of a plant or a tree, okay, then we observe, which is basically a dead one, okay. So in that case you can find a cork slice. So cork slice is having many dead cells, so he observed the dead cells, so that is in the brown part. So that is basically Robert Hooke is the one. I'll just erase this, okay. Then in the year 1674, one second. Okay. Alright, so now in the year 1674, so this was in the year 1674, so let me just take this one second. Yeah. So Antony van Leeuwenhoek, so the name of the scientist is Antony van Leeuwenhoek. So he observed the for the very first time he observed the living cells, okay. So living cells was observed by him, so that is in a pond water. So usually what do we find in a pond water? So it can be amoeba, or it can be the euglena, okay. So you can find a paramecium, so this could be there. So he observed some movement in that cell, okay. So some movement was observed in the cell, so that is based on that we could say that this is a living cell, okay. So for the very first time, that is in the 1674, living cell was observed. For the very first time in the year 1665, dead cell was observed, okay. So Robert Hooke is the one who we always say that he is the person who discovered a cell for the very first time, even though it is a dead one, okay, because we never had an idea about like what exactly is a dead one, or like what exactly is a living one. So only after that we started realizing that this is a living thing and this is a non-living thing, okay. Yes, so cork slice is a part of a tree. Okay, so any tree part if I have added here, so let me just check. Okay, anyway, I have not added the picture, so I'll just explain you that cork is nothing but you take a tree, right? Like you take a tree to make the door and all, okay. So that is dead tree we will take. So there might be sagwani, so different varieties of trees are there. So to make a door, or maybe to make a window, okay. So in all, or maybe for interior designing, so we take that wood, right? So that is basically the cut portion from this plant or a tree, okay. So which is actually a brownish part we can mention, so that itself is a cork slice. So he observed, he took a microscope which he had developed, and he observed it under a microscope, and he was able to observe some room like structures in that, and that is when he called it as a cellula or a cell, okay. So that means some room like structures is basically a cell, and he observed a dead cell. So living cell was observed by the Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Now, in the year 1831, so that is Robert Brown. So Robert Hooke is different, Robert Brown is different, okay. So Robert Brown discovered a nucleus, okay. So that is in a living cell. So let's say there is a cell, okay, and this cell is having a nucleus. So earlier they just observed the room like structures, here also. But the Robert Brown discovered a nucleus in a cell, okay. So for the very first time, some talking, some observation related to the nucleus was done. So that was done by the Robert Brown, okay. Then in the year 1839, the Purkinje, okay. So Purkinje is the name of the scientist. So he gave the term protoplasm. Any idea what is protoplasm? Any of you? Yes, what might be the protoplasm? So protoplasm is basically cytoplasm, okay. So cytoplasm plus nucleus, so we can call this as a protoplasm, okay. So this cytoplasm covered within the cell membrane, and there is a nucleus, so this is a protoplasm. So for the very first time, the Purkinje is the person who observed a cytoplasmic content along with the nucleus, which is covered by the cell membrane or a plasma membrane. So that is called as a protoplasm. Okay, so the term protoplasm was given by the Purkinje. All right, so then in the year 1838 or 1839, so this is the time period. Okay, so Schleiden and Schwann gave the cell theory. All right, so what is that cell theory? Any idea? So cell theory, Schleiden said that all the Schleiden and Schwann in general. So who discovered cell? So you can write the Robert Hooke. Okay, so he is the first person who discovered a cell for the very first time. So you can write Robert Hooke. Okay, so if they are specifically asking who discovered a living cell, so in that case you can mention it as a Antony von Leeuwenhoek, or otherwise in general if you are mentioning the cell who discovered it, so it is Robert Hooke. Okay, yes. So Schleiden and Schwann said that all the living organisms, so that can be plant or animals, so they are all made up of living cells. Okay, so all of them are made of a cell is mentioned by the Schleiden and Schwann, so which we call as a cell theory. Later on in the year 1855, so there is a scientist called as Rudolf Virchow. Okay, so Rudolf Virchow modified this cell theory, saying that all the cells arise from the pre-existing cells. Okay, so all cells arise from pre-existing cell. Okay, so this was said by whom? This was said by the Rudolf Virchow. So this one will include a modified cell theory. So now modified cell theory when we mention, so this is given by Schleiden, this is given by Schwann, this is even given by Rudolf Virchow, where the statement given is all the living organisms are made of the cell. Okay, so the structure, and it is a structural and functional unit, and the other thing is basically all the cells are arising from the pre-existing cell. So one is one cell is there. Okay, so this cell itself is undergoing a division. Okay, and two cells are formed. Okay, so only all the cells when we mention, so they are coming from the pre-existing. So now this cell will undergo division. Okay, so this is forming one cell here, this is forming another cell. So let's say this cell is undergoing, so this is forming one cell here, this is forming one cell here. So that is how the cell division occurs. That is pre-existing cell itself give rise to a new cell. So that was given by the Rudolf Virchow, which is now placed under the what category? So that is cell theory category itself. Yes. Okay, so these are the common cell types that you can find. Okay, so there are stem cells, there are intestinal cells which you can find in the intestine. So this one is a blood cell like RBC. Okay, so this is a RBC. Then you can find the cells that are found in the muscle. Then you can find the cells that are found in the liver. Okay, so these are nerve cells. So different cells are there. Okay, so different cells are there, so their function is gonna vary, okay, based on where they are present. Okay, so function variation, so base structure, so mainly we can say that instead of function, so structural variation you can find. Okay, so structural variation can be found, so that is based on the what function it has to perform. Okay, so now if it has to perform a different function, so different structural organization will be there. So always depending on a function, the structure is going to vary in case of cells. Okay, so what is stem cell? Any idea? Mythili, right? Yeah, so any idea what is stem cell? I'll just drink some water. No idea? it states that all plants and animals are made up of cells. So this is the okay, previous one only. Okay, so stem cells, when we mention, just a second. So stem cells are basically, these can give rise to any type of cell, like, now you have the stem cell. Okay, so we have a stem cell in our bone marrow. Okay, so now this can form a RBC, this can form a WBC, so this can even form a platelet, so this can even form a cell, like, epithelial cell, so this can even form a connective tissue, so this can even form a muscular tissue, like, stem cell when we mention, so it has the potential to form different types of tissues. Okay, so that means it is having a potential, like, it can form different types of tissues, so that type of cells are called as a stem cells. So different types of tissues can be formed with this one, so that is it is a stem cell. Okay, so now types of cells in the blood. So types of cells in the blood, so you can find RBC, there is a platelet, there is a lymphocyte, there is a monocyte, there you can find a neutrophil, basophil, and a eosinophil. So that means, so you can find different types of WBCs there. Okay, so based on that, so now based on the different types of WBC, their function is gonna vary. So all these are the WBCs only. So this is RBC, so this one is a platelet. So now you can find different types of tissues, different types of cells in plants and in case of animals, so that is gonna vary based on the function that it has to perform. So you can find a structural variation with respect to the function. Okay, so any doubt till here? All clear? Any doubt? So any doubts you have, you can ask. Okay, okay, so now you can see there is a branches of biology. Okay, so what exactly branches of biology when we mention, so biology is divided into several branches. So now you can find, so there is an animal to study, there is a plant to study, so we have different, like, we have much more diversity in the living organism. So that means we need to study different organisms, and we need to understand, like, what is the structural organization. Okay, so now based on that, so we will be classifying the animals based on what type of a feature, body feature that they have. So biology is divided into several branches. So this division can be made in at least 3 different ways. So there you can find 3 different ways. Okay, so one is you are studying a plant, so that we call as botany. Okay, so one, if we are studying animals, so that we call as zoology. Okay, and the other one, so you can see human biology there. Okay, so now when we mention about the human biology, so study of a man as a living organism, okay, and his relationship with the other living organisms. That means we are studying different animals. Okay, so we are studying different plants. Okay, so in detail study, like what exactly is plant made of. Okay, so plant is made up of what, animal is made up of what. Okay, so now in detail, basically when we mention, just a second, I'll just check this. So there is a block on my screen, just a second. Okay, I think this is fine now. All right, so now branches of biology. So you can, let's say, now what type of environment this plant is living. Okay, so if the plant is living in an aquatic condition, what is the adaptability. Okay, so if a plant is living in a adaptability, okay, one second. Okay, so what is adaptability, like what type of adjustment this plant has done. So whether it is forming, whether the roots are fixed in the water, or whether there is a fixation of a root has occurred in a water or not, or this is a freely floating plant. So different different things that we will be studying here, like that is with respect to adaptability, like whether it is able to survive in this condition well or not. Okay, so if a hot temperature is there, so whether this plant will survive. Okay, so if a too cold temperature is there, so whether this plant will survive or not. So each and every detail with respect to plants is considered, so that we study under the botany. So botany is a study of plant. So zoology is the study of animals. Okay, so now we don't know what does this animal does. Okay, so there is one particular animal. Okay, let's take this animal only. Okay, so this is a lizard actually. Okay, a lizard that you can find in gardens and all. Okay, so this is that lizard. All right, so now we don't know what is the cell that might be present here, or we don't know what is the defense mechanism of this one. Any idea what is the defense mechanism of this particular animal? Like if a predator comes, like if somebody comes to eat this one, okay, or maybe to harm this one, so in that case you can see this lizard is having a defense mechanism. Okay, so first, in the first place, it will, you can see these glands here, no, so these are the glands, so it will swell that gland. Okay, and it will turn somewhat somewhat pinkish or reddish, so it will create a look that it is it is aggressive look it is creating. Okay, so first of all, the appearance itself is somewhat aggressive or scary. Okay, and on top this is bulging the glands over here. Okay, and it is creating that look. The oppose, like the predator who is there, so he or like not he or she, so basically the predator, any animal that might be there, or it can be human also, so they might get scared. Okay, so that type of a defense mechanism you can find with respect to a particular lizard. So changing the color and look, so that can be, yes, so that is also a type of lizard, so that is a chameleon. Okay, so that is chameleon does that function, like it has got the capacity to change its color. Okay, so not all the lizards have got that capacity, but most of the lizards, so they have the defense mechanism of swelling up these glands, turning themselves somewhat reddish in color or maybe pinkish in color, so they'll create that aggressive look. So whoever the predator is there, so they'll get scared. So this is just a defense mechanism. So as such, different animals are having a different we can say different defense mechanism. So do you have any idea like what is the defense mechanism that you can find in birds in general? Defense in case of birds in general, any bird when we mention. No idea? Okay, so here in this case, the defense that you can find in a bird is, so let's say there is something that is coming into their territory. Okay, so bird territory is there. Okay, so that is in their area. Okay, so in their area, so if any if there is any new bird that might be coming, or there might be some new animal that they see. Okay, so in that case, all of them will start to coo. Okay, so they'll all start to coo, like they'll start using their voice. Okay, that is their, like whatever they sing, so they'll start singing that, like they'll show the unity. Okay, so that is the defense again, so they'll show the unity, and with that unity, whatever animal is there, or maybe some other different bird might be there, so that will get scared. Okay, so it will get scared that this territory, it belongs to this group of bird but not mine. Okay, so they'll announce that this territory or the area belongs to me, so that is by cooing, like all of them will start cooing at once. Okay, so in that case, that is a type of a defense mechanism that might be there. Okay, then if you observe a squid, okay, so do you know squid, or which can also be called as, what is that, I think one more name is there for this, for squid. Okay, so what it does is, it is actually having a black ink in its anus. Okay, so this is having a black ink in its anus. Okay, so whenever predator comes, so this is always in the water. Okay, So now whenever predator comes, so from the anus, so this is going to release that black ink, okay, and the predator who has come to eat the squid so cannot see anything, because water is completely black, okay. So that means now while the predator cannot see anything, so this particular squid is gonna escape that predator and run away from that, and basically it is saving its life. So whenever we mention a zoology, so basically we'll be studying each and every detail about the animals, not just a lizard, any animal, so including a human. But human biology we have a separate one. So why? The reason is basically, so we are much more advanced, okay. So how exactly we are much more advanced? So that is because we have developed lot of technologies. You see like any animal who has started to use a mobile, or maybe who has started going to the space? So in animals only we are much more advanced, okay. So that means we have developed a computer, we are taking online classes, so we have built a home, we have built a roads, we have built a bridges, we have built a flyovers, a much more development is done in all the field which is done only by a human, okay. So that means we'll have to study the human brain there, okay. So how exactly that human is so talented, so we need to study that. And the relationship of a man, with the living organism, like other living organism like dog, or it can be with respect to plants. So how exactly a human is treating other animals, so that also can be considered, okay. And a study of a man and a human society, human interaction, one particular human is there, so there is another human, so what is the interaction, what is the behavior, when whether they are friendly, whether they are fighting. So for all this reason, so what could be the cause, okay. So each and every detail will be studying, including the defense, including the internal body structure, external body structure. So each and every detail is considered, so that comes under the human biology, okay. Any doubt till here, all of you? Is this clear? Any doubt? Okay, so this anyway I have added this extra, okay. So let's see this. So that is father of botany, okay. So father of botany, how good is the life of animals, because they don't need to study so hard and worry about the marks. So that's absolutely right, I totally agree that. But anyway, so they'll also have to face lot of things. Now we don't know what type of issue that they might be facing. So they also, every living organism, once it takes a birth on this planet earth, okay. So they have to go to one, they have to go through one or the other process. So we might feel that studying for the exam, getting the marks is big tension, but we don't know what tension they might be having. We already know, we have discussed, but they they have a lot more process, lot more tension than us. Saving themselves is a big deal. You can see that the deer tries to escape a tiger or maybe a lion, they are facing much more issues than us. So anyway, we are having that brain cells, which has made us unique from other animals. But again, you can see in humans also there is fighting, there are a lot of things that keep happening, so which is again a not good thing. But anyway, everybody has to take some or the other problems. So there has to be problems, there has to be happy moment in every living organism's life. So same thing with respect to all the other organisms. Okay, so father of botany, so who is the father of botany? Any idea? Yes, very good. So Theophrastris is the father of botany. So moving on to next one. Study of animals is called zoology, botany, microbiology and human biology. So you can just write the option A, B, C and D. You need not type whole thing. Okay. So this is zoology. Yes, that's right. So study of animals. So herpetology. So if you know, you can answer. So this is not compulsory. So herpetology is study of birds. Okay. So whether this one is true or false. Any idea on this? What is herpetology? False. Yes. So study of birds is ornithology. Okay. So ornithology can be called as a study of bird. Okay. So herpetology is all related to study of, like, reptiles mainly. You can say snakes or maybe lizards are studied here. So that is a herpetology. Okay. Yes, this is false. Okay. Hi, Kashyap Astro. Okay. So mycology is a study of fungi. So whether this is true or false. Yes, anybody? So this is true, mycology. Yes, others also. Aryan has given the answer as true. Yes. So mycology is true. Yes, that's right. Okay. So myco, like you might have heard during the COVID period also. So we had the term like mucormycosis. So that is the black fungus was there. So myco is related to fungi. So that means it is true. Okay. So mucormycology. So myco is a fungi. Logy is study. So study of fungi is done. So that is true. Okay. I think we are done with all the questions and we are at the end of the session. So before I end this session, so let me just see about the batches that we have for class 9. So this is the guardians batch. So this one is for so those who take subscription. Okay, so they can take up this session, they can attend this session. So we have recordings of the sessions which are available. So you can, even if you are taking a subscription now, so we might come up with the new batches, and also there is a recording that will be available. So you can watch the recording, and every educator would have pinned their Telegram link. So any doubt that you get, you can get your doubt clarified on Telegram as well. But yes, there are many more sessions which are yet to go live, so you can attend the live session as well. So here in the guardians badge, the mode of delivery is English. Okay. So if you are subscribing for class 9, so you will be getting class 10 to 12 subscription absolutely free. So here this is the Avengers batch. The mode of delivery is English here, and it started on May 11th. So here also you can watch the recording and many more sessions which are yet to go live, so you can attend live sessions there. Okay, and there is a offer which is gonna end today itself by 11:59. Okay, so if you are planning to take the subscription, so this is the best time. So lowest ever price you can get on Unacademy. So this is a never before offer. So if you are planning for the subscription, so you can, now this is the very beginning of your class 9, so you can go with the 12 months of subscription. So where, from tomorrow onwards, that is from 20th onwards, so you will have to pay 17,250. But right now there is a offer. So for 12 months you will be just paying 12k. So basically you are saving up to 5,250. So if you are planning for the subscription, so you can go for the subscription today itself, and you can use the code VANIYT. Okay, so this is my code. So with this referral code you will be getting 20% discount. So with the 20% discount only, it is 12,000 for 12 months. Okay, so now if you are planning for class 10 also, so maybe you can go for higher month, that is 24 months as well. So where you will be paying, so this is just offer price, so you can pay up to 20k, and basically you are saving 8,750. Okay, so if you are if you are planning for the subscription, so you can make it today itself. So don't forget to mention the code there, that is VANIYT. Okay, so only with the code you will be getting a discount on the subscription. All right, so before I end this session, so let me just say about how you can watch my special classes on Unacademy platform all you need to do is download the Unacademy Learner app from the Play Store. Okay, then go to this. Once you download it, so you can open the app and then click on get started. Then you can enter your mobile number and the OTP. Okay, so sign up using your email ID. So then you will find this section like competitive exam class 6 to 12 will be available. So you can select your class 6 to 12. Then you can also find the ICSE category there. Okay, so select your category. So choose the language that you would like to, you would like to learn in. So like basically English, Hindi, or maybe English. Okay, so then click on next. So basically you can follow the link that you can find in the description box of this video. Then once you do that, you can click on notify me, so you will get notified 10 minutes before the class begins. Then you can also use my code, so that is VaniYT. Okay, so this is the code. So you can use this code to unlock many of the free products that are there on Unacademy platform. And other than that, so this code you can also use to get 20% discount on the subscription. All right, so okay, so thank you so much, Maithili. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so see you all in the next session. So subscribe to our channel, that is Unacademy ICSE and ISC both. Click on bell icon to get notified about the session. Like and share the video. So download the Unacademy Learner app. This PDF if you need, so you can just ping me on my Telegram. So that is Unacademy. So for my Telegram, you can search on Telegram. So that is Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology. Okay. So see you all in the next session. Bye bye everyone. Thank you so much.